Today we're going to talk a little bit about ice fishing and ice fishing safety. A lot of people see ice fishermen out on the lake and they see big tents and all kinds of crazy setups, but you don't really need all that much to get started in the sport. It just takes some basic safety and fishing equipment for you to get started. So the first thing I always like to talk about from the safety standpoint is your ice pick. What you do is you use them, because the ice is very slippery and difficult to crawl out with your bare hands, as a way to grip the ice to pull yourself out should you fall through. So if you can see that, there's a little spike that is covered by a piece of plastic that retracts, that allows you to be safe when you're out there. Because you can use these to self-rescue should you fall through the ice by pushing them into the ice in front of you and using them to drag yourself out. The next piece of safety equipment I would like to discuss, not only is for your safety, but it also helps you check ice conditions, is the Spud. And this is essentially just a heavy metal bar with a chisel end on it. So what you want to do is you want to use this to prod the ice in front of you, or probe the ice in front of you while you're walking out, to ensure that ice thickness remains the same and to ensure that you're meeting that minimum requirement of what we recommend to go out on the lake, which is 4 inches. And then after that, you're going to need something to make a hole in the ice that you can actually fish through. And this is your most basic auger. It's a 6-inch hand auger, which is powered by you, that you can use to drill a hole in the ice so that you can jig or set your tip up. So after you have your hole in the ice, the next best thing to do is to actually start your fishing. So to get your hole clean, oftentimes we recommend people taking an ice scoop, which allows you to scoop the slush out of your hole without getting your fingers cold. And this is a jigging rod with a monofilament line, just like your open water fishing rod, but they're just generally a little smaller with a lighter tip to detect bites. And then after that, you have your tip up. Your tip up is essentially sometimes referred to as a fish trap. You end up sending this flag, and what happens is that there's a monofilament line that runs off the bottom of it. And when a fish bites it, you'll actually see the flag go up and it'll indicate that you have a bite. Most of the time people fish minnows with these, and that brings us to our next topic, which is bait. Most of the time with the jigging rod, a lot of people are fishing either a small tungsten or lead jig tipped with a wax worm or a spike, and even sometimes mealworms. But a lot of times, more recently, people have been switching over to plastic baits, which are easier to keep alive and more readily available. So here you can see they come in all different shapes, sizes, and colors. But it's some of the main ways to catch fish through the ice, even in the wintertime. You're also going to need an assortment of jigs, ranging from these little tiny tungsten jigs that are less than 1/4 inch long, up to these large jigging wraps, which are suitable for things like predator species. The 5-gallon bucket is handy dandy because you can carry all of your equipment inside of it, and it also gives you something to sit on while you're out there on the lake. Lastly, never fish alone, because it's always more fun and more safe to go travel with a buddy. That way, if something should happen, there's somebody there to assist you.